Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Today I wanted to share a super simple card that I made, but I do like the front of it. I think it adds a lot to, and it's very easy to do. So I'll show you. It's just a 5x7 card. It's the only dimension is whatever you put on the front. So you could make it flat if you wanted to, but let me show you how it's made. So we start with a 5x7 card base, and I've just got a piece. I'm going to make a little bit different colors and use a different floral on the front. So I've just got some background color paper because the printed paper that I wanted to use is this. And so I wanted a light color that goes with it. And then this is going to be my folded paper where the pink is. So that's the papers. And let me go ahead and put this on, and then I'll share with you how you do the pleats. They're pretty easy to do. Okay, I'm going to set my card base to the side. Now, for a 5x7 card, this piece of card is 9 1/4 inches long by just under 6 3/4 high, because this is just under 7, and I wanted just a little bit of that to show. So you can cut it shorter. But, and then, so 9 inches, 9 1/4. So I scored at 2.5. And then, so I went 2.5, and then 3/4, 1.5, 3/4, 1.5, 3/4, 1.5. So let me put it on the scoreboard and I'll tell you exactly what it is. So I scored at 2.5, 3 1/4, 4 3/4, 5.5, 7, 7 3/4, and then it's 9 1/4. Okay. So again, 2.5, 3 1/4, 4 3/4, 5.5, 7, 7 3/4. Okay. So that gives you a 2.5 inch section, and then 3/4, 1.5, 3/4, 1.5, 3/4, 1.5. And then I marked here, just there's a little pencil mark there, 3 inches, I think 3 inches down. Well, actually not quite. It's 4 inches from the bottom to that little mark. And I'm going to cut that angle. And you cut from that mark. Oh, my bigger. And you're going to cut from that pencil mark right up to that very first score line. The score line that's at, let me see if I can get it in here so you can see. And so I can see. So you're going to cut from the pencil mark right up to that first score line at 2.5. Okay, so I'll show you in a sec. So you cut from, this was 4 inches up from the bottom, and you're going to cut the angle from that mark down to the very first score line. And then you're going to score this just back and forth. So score and burnish. It's a little bit easier if this is not super heavyweight card. If it's a really heavyweight card, it's a little bit harder to make it work. And you want to just make sure that top is staying straight. It should if you scored straight, but okay. So there's my card, and you want to make sure this card is double-sided, preferably with the same color, or I guess you could use if you had a coordinated cardstock on the back, but obviously those little triangles are going to show, so you don't want a white on the back cardstock. Well, I guess you could, but it would. I think it would look funny. So I looked for a double-sided card. Okay. And then we're going to mat this. And so this piece is 2.5, and then each of these is 1 1.5, right? Yes. So 2.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So we're going to cut some strips out of our cardstock. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to get the angles on this paper. So this one's fine because it's just straight on the bottom. So then you take, and make sure if you have directional paper that you get it all in the same direction. So then line this piece up where you want it on that piece. And then what I did is I just opened it up and bent it over, and then took my scissors and cut just on the inside of that. And you could cut with a paper trimmer if you'd rather, but, and then you get that perfect angle. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the next two. I'm going to glue all my paper on. All right, so I got my paper on there, and to keep this flat, I glued it down. And so the way you need to do that is put glue. You can just put glue on right on this edge, and then that edge, and that last edge. And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing on the back, just to kind of hold it down. I'm going to set this aside with something heavy on it just to get that glue to grab while we work on the next thing. Okay, and then the flowers that I'm going to use are, I'm going to use this Altenew hibiscus layering die set. And it's nice, it's got little directions. And this is their keyhole system. So when you cut them all, like here's one, you've got all these little pieces, and I don't know if you can see this little hole, it's got a shape that matches. So when you're going to layer it, you just match up those shapes, and then you know you've got it in the right place. And then here's the inside and the top, and it's got little instructions that tell you, you know, which order to go in. And I cut them all in white, and I'm going to ink them with my water reactive frosted sea glass because I thought that ink would match well. So let me find a little ink dauber. And I'm just going to put a little bit of ink right down kind of in the throat of the flower. And maybe right on the edge. And I'm going to ink each piece the same way. So I'll probably speed this up so you don't have to watch me do all of them. Okay, now that I've got my inking all done, I just follow the instructions. So we'll start with the smaller flower. So it says take piece 1, this says 1, and put a little bit of glue on there. And then we take piece 2, and you line up this one has like an arrow on it, so you just line up the arrows, and that's piece 2. And then it says to put piece 3 on, which is our little stamen piece. And again, you line it up with the arrow, and you know you're getting it right on there. And then we're going to put our little end piece on. It goes right on here. Like that. And then I think I'm going to glue that down. Okay, and then this piece goes right on the top to cover up your little hole. So there's one flower. Now we're going to do the next one. So it says we start with piece 1, put some glue on, get piece 2 with the little matching hole. I love this little keyhole system. It's amazing. Then piece 3 is our little stamen. Again, you line up the little keyhole. Put a little bit of glue up here so that that locks down. I'm going to put the end on. Okay. And then the rest of these pieces go on top. So it they don't have numbers or the keyhole system on them, but it tells you what to do. So it says put this one over to cover up this piece. Just line it up, and it does have a number 4 on it. And then this piece goes on, and it just lines up like that. This line goes against that line, so there. And then this piece goes over the top to cover it all up. Just like that. Isn't that cool? It makes it really easy to put these together. Love that Altenew. Although I have to admit, what I do is when I first get a new one of these die sets is I make a sample in white and I just leave it in the package. And then I always have it. And that way it's easier to refer back to. And then I've got some greenery, and I'll put those on when I get my card put together. So let's get our card base back out here. And let me get my card in here, and it's going to go right on like that, and it fits just perfect. I think I might put this one on foam tape. I didn't on the other one, but I think I will on this one. Okay, make sure I got my card base right. And we're going to center this up. To get it in the right place, commit it down. Oh, I do like it on foam tape. And then we're going to put our little floral in there. I think I might just clip these off of the stem. I don't want the stem. I'll put my flowers on. I don't want to cover up too much of my pretty design underneath, because that's the whole point of the card, but you do need some foliage, otherwise your flowers look a little funny. Put one down here. There. And then on the other one, I put some little gems down here. You could put a sentiment there, but I think I am going to get some gems, so I'll be right back. And if you're going to put pearls or any kind of gems on, I always do it little dots of tacky glue. Even though they're adhesive backed, I think they stick on better. Maybe I'll go with one smaller. There. Okay, and we're all done. Isn't that lovely? Love that. So here's one using Crafter's Companion. These are using the decoupage pads, and this is using the Altenew flowers. It's hibiscus, the Altenew hibiscus floral. So thanks for watching.